It was supposed to be a normal day in August 2025. HYBE had been teasing the upcoming Movie Weeks project, a cinematic celebration of BTS's journey, and anticipation had been skyrocketing for weeks. Fans cleared their schedules, alarms were set worldwide, and the moment the teaser dropped, millions of ARMY across time zones clicked play in perfect unison. The first seconds were everything fans wanted. Dramatic visuals, nostalgic montages, the promise of something bigger coming soon. Familiar faces appeared. RM's thoughtful gaze, Jin's radiant smile, Suga's quiet charisma, J-Hope's boundless energy, V's soulful aura, and Jungkook's magnetic presence. But as the seconds stretched into minutes, something felt off. Something, or rather someone, was missing. Jimin. The realization hit slowly, like a wave building in the distance before crashing down all at once. Viewers replayed the teaser again and again, searching frame by frame, convinced they had simply missed him in a blink-and-you'll-miss-it shot. But no matter how carefully they looked, Jimin's image wasn't there. And then panic set in. Within minutes, Twitter, Instagram, and Weverse erupted into chaos. Where is Jimin became the question on everyone's lips. Hashtag Where is Jimin trended at #1 worldwide. Hashtag HYBE Better Explain surged with millions of mentions. And then a darker, more painful tag appeared. Hashtag Jimin left BTS. For longtime fans, seeing that last phrase was heartbreaking. ARMY has always fought fiercely to protect the identity of BTS as 7 members, 1 family, 1 team. The idea that one could be missing, or worse, erased, cut deep. Fan accounts began stitching side-by-side comparisons, screenshots of the teaser with empty frames where Jimin could have been, edits of past group teasers where his absence would have been unthinkable. The community, normally united in celebration, was now united in outrage. BTS is 7, not 6. Don't erase Jimin, read a one viral tweet with over 1 million likes. This is not just an accident, this is disrespect, said another. The sentiment was clear. ARMY would not let this slide. As the uproar grew louder, all eyes turned to HYBE. Would the company issue a statement? Would they clarify why Jimin wasn't included? Was it a mistake in editing, a scheduling issue, or something more intentional? But hours turned into days, and HYBE said nothing. The silence only fueled speculation. Some fans theorized that Jimin had been unable to attend the filming due to scheduling conflicts. Others worried it was linked to health concerns, recalling the times in the past when Jimin had quietly struggled, but later revealed the truth to fans. But the most controversial theory suggested something more deliberate, that HYBE was sidelining Jimin to push other members or protect certain narratives in the group's promotional cycle. Without answers, the fandom's imagination spiraled, and HYBE's silence was deafening. For casual viewers, the absence of one member in a teaser might not seem like a big deal, but for BTS and their fandom, the meaning runs much deeper. Jimin isn't any member. He has long been considered the emotional heartbeat of BTS. His vocals carry some of the group's most iconic ballads, his stage presence has defined countless performances, and his relationship with ARMY has always been deeply personal, with letters, live streams, and words that heal fans in their most vulnerable moments. To see him missing from a project meant to celebrate BTS as a whole wasn't just disappointing, it was devastating. Without Jimin, it doesn't feel complete, one fan wrote on Weverse, their post gathering tens of thousands of likes. How can you celebrate BTS's legacy without the member who gave us songs like Lie, Serendipity, and Promise? Another demanded. The truth was, for many fans, BTS without Jimin, even just for a teaser, was simply unthinkable. This wasn't the first time HYBE had faced criticism for seemingly sidelighting certain members. In past promotions, fans had raised concerns over uneven line distribution, limited screen time, or questionable marketing decisions. Each time, the company managed to weather the storm. But Jimin's absence in 2025 hit differently. After years of military service, solo projects, and long-awaited reunions, this was supposed to be a new era, an era of unity. For Jimin, who had just recently reminded fans of his dedication with solo successes and touching fan interactions, being cut out from such a milestone project felt like a betrayal. And this time, fans weren't willing to stay quiet. From Seoul to Sao Paulo, Los Angeles to London, ARMY took action. Fans flooded HYBE's official accounts with demands for clarity. They organized online petitions, reaching hundreds of thousands of signatures within hours. They even began planning protest projects, including truck advertisements outside HYBE headquarters in Seoul, a method the fandom had used before to demand accountability. This isn't just about one teaser. This is about respect, said a fan organizer leading one of the protest campaigns. We have supported BTS for over a decade. All we ask in return is fairness for all 7 members. The energy was palpable. What began as outrage was transforming into a movement, a call to remind the industry that BTS is 7, not 6, and never should be treated otherwise. When HYBE refused to break its silence, fans did what they always do best: investigate. Entire Twitter threads were dedicated to dissecting every second of the movie week's teaser. Some noticed editing cuts that looked suspiciously abrupt, as if footage of Jimin might have been removed at the last minute. Others pointed out that promotional photos released earlier in the year included Jimin in the lineup, so why would he suddenly vanish? A more hopeful theory emerged. Perhaps Jimin had been left out intentionally for a dramatic reveal later. Maybe HYBE was planning a surprise solo feature, or even an unexpected cameo in the full project that would leave fans stunned. This theory gave some comfort, but many remained skeptical. If it's a surprise, why cause unnecessary pain? Asked one fan on Instagram. You don't erase someone's presence for shock value, especially not Jimin. The uncertainty gnawed at fans' hearts. It wasn't just about answers, it was about trust. And right now, that trust between HYBE and the fandom felt fragile. As the uproar grew louder, international media outlets began to cover the controversy. Major entertainment sites ran headlines like, BTS fans furious after Jimin's absence in movie teaser. Did HYBE cut out Jimin? ARMY demands answers. BTS Backlash, the mystery of missing member Jimin. Television networks in South Korea even ran short segments on the situation, showing clips of fan protests online and displaying trending hashtags. Analysts described it as one of the most intense fandom reactions since BTS's enlistment era began. This wasn't just fandom drama. It had become a cultural conversation. Longtime ARMY couldn't help but recall earlier controversies. In past years, line distribution in albums often sparked debates about fairness. Some fans had even accused HYBE of pushing certain members more during promotional cycles. But Jimin's case was different. He wasn't just given fewer lines, he was entirely absent. That level of exclusion carried weight. It brought back painful memories of other K-pop idols who had been sidelined by their agencies, sometimes leading to departures from their groups. The fear underlying the outrage was simple. Fans were terrified of losing Jimin. To understand why his absence felt so raw, you have to understand what Jimin represents to ARMY. He's more than just a singer, dancer, or performer. He's an anchor of emotion. When Jimin sings, there's a vulnerability that connects directly to the heart. His solo tracks, Lie, Serendipity, Promise, aren't just songs, they are confessions, windows into his soul. His performances are unforgettable, blending technical brilliance with raw feeling. And his interactions with fans, often filled with tender words and gratitude, have comforted millions. So when Jimin is missing, fans don't just see a gap in a teaser, They feel an emotional void. "He's our comfort, our angel. Without him, BTS feels incomplete," one fan tweeted. Another added, "We have waited years for OT7 again. Don't start this narrative of 6. BTS is 7. Always." The ARMY community isn't just a fandom. It's a family. Many fans have leaned on BTS and especially Jimin for emotional strength during their hardest times. His words have helped people through depression, anxiety, and loneliness. His songs have been soundtracks to healing. So when fans saw him excluded, the reaction wasn't just anger, it was fear. Fear that their safe space, their bond with Jimin was being threatened. Fear that the industry might attempt to rewrite the narrative of BTS without him. This is why hashtags like Jimin left BTS became so painful. Even though fans used it to demand attention, just seeing the words strung together was enough to cause heartbreak.